Dangle. All right, we are live. Everyone, thank you so much for joining our live broadcast here, where we're going to talk about how you can make money using YouTube. All right, and today we're going to be very casual about this. This is not going to be something where we're going to have a PowerPoint presentation and we're going to bore you to death with slides. I don't have a story to tell you guys. And, you know, we kind of want to just jump into it. We want this to be interactive, and definitely, you know, if you got questions, just post them in the comment area. I'm going to be monitoring that as well as Garry, but we're going to just wait about a minute or so. You can see Garry here. Let me pull him up. I want to make sure that you guys can get logged in. There he is, the man. We're going to learn the truth today, guys. We are going to learn the truth.
You already
That's what we're all about here, man. If you guys follow us on our channels, 30minutemarketing.net, kenfurukawa.com, you know we're all about telling the truth, about being transparent and open. And this is what this live is all about. You're gonna learn some things here. We're gonna go through some of these things you might already know, but I think it's important for you to understand that if you implement the method, that you can achieve a level of success. And we're gonna show you inside of Garry's channel. We're gonna just open this up because we want you guys to ask questions. And yeah, focus. Garry's showing his focus.
This is funny because typically when we're on the podcast, I'm doing things like this, and then I'm explaining to the podcast listeners what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But now we're just on YouTube. Actually, we're on Facebook too, right? We're on your Facebook page.
Yeah, we're on my Facebook page. So
awesome.
There's several hundred people hopefully tuning in, going, this guy's never posted before. What is he doing? Well, you know what? We see a lot of people coming in here. That's awesome. I see Brian, Richie, Philip, Suzanne, Asib. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much.
So Richie M, kind of disappointed that Garry hasn't got a Ken t-shirt. I do have a Ken t-shirt. It just hasn't arrived yet because we just created that merch. Ken got his on the West Coast because they actually printed it and shipped it to him right there in California. I'm in Arkansas, and mine is actually coming from Pennsylvania.
You could have just had Brian drive it down for you.
Yeah,
he's on right now. Brian,
hey,
Brian, you could have done it for us right there.
Yeah, Brian, you could have just drove me my t-shirt. That's right, Brian Toter. Focus. That is the word, focus.
All right, so you want to get started, Garry?
Yeah, let's roll, man.
Just go. Yeah, it's a couple minutes past. I think everyone. I know that. I think. Who is it? Dennis is trying to get in there. Dennis is always straggling along. All right. So what we want to do today, as I had mentioned, if you guys have been seeing all the posts, if you are on my email list or on Garry's email list, you know, we want to talk about just making money on YouTube. There's a lot of information out there. You can buy courses, you can buy all kinds of stuff, right? But you know, I think what we're going to talk about is give you some tips on things that you can do, and we're going to back that up with Garry's knowledge. And for those of you guys who don't know the gentleman that's right next to me, this is Garry Baker, also known as the Professor. All right, we're going to be calling him the Professor. I call him the Professor. I think I'm the only person, but I like calling him the Professor because he is a student of YouTube. The man just lives, he eats, he breathes YouTube, and I can't think of anyone better to talk about YouTube than Garry Baker, the Professor. So what we're going to talk about today, well, we are going to talk about how you can feed the YouTube algorithm, right? Feed the algorithm. And this is a term that was coined by Garry, and you better trademark that one, by the way.
Yeah,
but it's the term that he coined.
Definitely thinking about the trademark on that one.
And we're going to learn how you can feed the YouTube algorithm so that you can reach and rank your videos, so you can make money, also earn passive income doing it. And you know, Garry's going to walk us through the 3 important factors that your videos need to have. He's actually going to go inside of his channel. We're going to go inside his channel so you can see, you know, the statistics. And Garry's going to break it down because I never knew a lot about this stuff until I started really talking to Garry, and he started sharing his knowledge with me. And there's a ton of things, and Garry's going to make it simple so that you understand what you need to look for and what drives the YouTube algorithm. Okay. Also, we want to talk about monetization. This is a question. In fact, I got this question yesterday by somebody asking, how can they, if they want to monetize their videos or they want to monetize their channel, and monetization, that word means different things to different people. And we're going to talk about that. Most people think monetization has to do with the channel, right? Monetizing your channel for AdSense. But there are other ways to monetize. And Gary's actually going to show you ways that he has done it as well. So you don't have to, obviously you're going to be working towards monetizing your channel if that's what you want to do in terms of AdSense revenue. But if you are looking for other ways to monetize, to utilize the content that you're creating, and then you definitely want to stick around for that part. Also, we're going to be talking about the Tube Channel Club. That's something that we're going to be talking about towards the end. So if you guys are wanting to stick around and join us for that one, definitely stick around, because I think it's worth your time to understand the kind of value that you're going to get as a member of the Tube Channel Club. So with that, I didn't mean to go into this lengthy introduction. Garry, let's jump into the word algorithm. I hear it all the time. I talk about it all the time. And people hear that word, but do they really understand what the algorithm is? And I use the air quotes, algorithm is. And so maybe you can talk a little bit about that, and what do you need to be feeding that algorithm, and what is it?
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, and we talk about it all the time, actually, when we do our podcast, just theory behind how platforms work, any type of social media. And of course, YouTube is a social media platform, but everyone looks at it, and rightly so, because it's owned by Google. So technically people think of it first, or most people think of it first, as a search engine. So when you think about the algorithm, it's everything that's happening behind the scenes on YouTube for YouTube to get the information out to the audience that you're looking for. And that's where I came up with this idea for feed the algorithm, because YouTube is hungry. YouTube is hungry for content, fresh content. And that's your role when you decide you want to make a YouTube channel. And really not so much your role when you want to make a YouTube channel, your role if you want to try to create a business or even a side hustle, and you want to put content out to the world that solves a specific problem for a specific set of people, a group of people, your audience, the audience you're looking for. And that's what YouTube is so powerful in doing. There's really not any other platform that actively takes your content and uses AKA or quote the algorithm to go out and find your audience for you. So literally you post a video on YouTube. YouTube works to figure out what that video is behind the scenes by using the algorithm and a bunch of AI and stuff like that we'll talk about. But the idea here is the algorithm, or the algorithms that are running inside of YouTube, is actively working for you. So as long as you give YouTube what they want, which is fresh content for a specific audience, then they'll go find it for you. And then you get what you want, which is to grow your channel and then to take that and turn it into money, right? Build an audience, monetize it. Affiliate marketing, your own services, your own products, or to even get to the requirements for monetization. All right.
All right.
So
you want to show your...
Yeah. So with that, when we're talking about feeding the algorithm, really what we're talking about here, when we're talking about the way I look at it, and sort of like Ken mentioned, the Tube Channel Club, when you come and you sort of work with me and you look at like, what is it we're doing? We're trying to feed this algorithm. So again, I talked about the algorithm, but I really talked about it in multiple pieces. And the idea that you're feeding this algorithm, in this case, 4 different types of algorithms that we'd like to focus on, that we can sort of, I'll just say control, for lack of a better word. So search, right? So when you start off with search, again, I said that's what people think about YouTube, right? Because YouTube, even if you don't go to YouTube and search, for example, you go to Google or Bing or Yahoo, but specifically Google in this case, when people think about searching the internet, they just use the verb Google, right? I'm going to Google that. So when you go to Google and you type into Google, you're feeding the search algorithm. Your content that you're creating, your helpful content that is targeted at an audience, is going to feed that search algorithm. So if you are creating content on how to care for baby llamas, then you optimize your content to make sure that YouTube understands and knows that this is about caring and feeding baby llamas, right? And typically that's where we all want to start, especially the types of channels that most of us are going to create, which are blue collar channels, meaning the channel we're creating the content. We're actively going to be creating content for that content to go to work for us. We're creating an army and a bunch of little soldiers, if you will, to go out and do that work, right? That's what our channel is. We're not creating the types of channels that are necessarily going to be viral hits, right? They're never going to get millions of views, instantaneously. It's not going to be trending. That's not to say that it can't happen for you, but that's the thought process, right? You got to go in knowing that you're showing up to work every day to create content to help that audience, right?
Yeah.
So
one thing I wanted to mention was when you're talking about feeding that algorithm, what kinds of content and because people focus sometimes on a ton of different things, right? And we talked about this yesterday. Sometimes people, rather than focusing on that very, very narrow specific area, people kind of tend to just branch out and they start making content for all kinds of things related to feeding a baby llama, right?
Yeah, so that's part of it, right? After you understand that you're talking about the algorithms, and I wanted to actually highlight this comment from Frank. Refreshing to get into a webinar without sob story, 3 problems, solution, and stacking to sweeten the product. Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. So really, that's what we're talking about today, right? We're just letting you know that, look, YouTube is available for everyone. It's freely available. You can start a YouTube channel right now. You can start putting up content, right? But if you don't have focus, right, and you're not focused on the things you need to do, then it's going to take you a long time to figure it out. But if you focus and you focus on the things that, for example, work for me on both of my monetized YouTube channels, then we're here to try to help you shortcut that. That's what we're here to do, right? So go back to what Ken said, right? So when you're thinking about that, and like I said, that example, feeding baby llamas or caring for baby llamas, you just need to make sure that when you're creating that content, first, the content has to be good and on topic, right? I mean, that's just, your content has to be good. It may not start off good, but it has to get better. Right? You have to work to make it better, right? Because obviously no one's going to pay attention to you if your content is just stale or boring or doesn't give them the answers they're looking for. All right. So you take that back to feeding the algorithm, right? And I'll return back to that slide to highlight that. So when you're talking about search, right, you're using terms that are used by viewers on YouTube to find your content. And I use this example all the time. People want to make YouTube videos and they have a channel, and then they miss the basic understanding of that inside of search, when you're talking about feeding the algorithm, yes, YouTube has a powerful AI and it actually can scan your videos and your images and figure out what your video is about. It does a transcription for you and all that stuff. And that is actually part of the mechanism they use to determine if your keywords and your descriptions are all matching what your content's actually about, and to make sure that that fits the audience that you're looking for and that YouTube's going out actively searching for. But it starts with you actually titling your video, right? So once you decided on your topic, and we'll dive into this a little deeper, but if you're making a video about baby llamas, about feeding and caring for baby llamas, then make sure you put that in your title. I mean, it sounds really simple, but a lot of people miss it, because if you have a baby llama and that baby llama's name is Larry, right? Larry the llama, and you wake up every day at 6 a.m. to feed Larry, and that's the title of your video, another 6 a.m. feeding for Larry. Well, no one's going to find that video, right? I guess I shouldn't speak in absolutes. Yes, someone may find that video, right? They may stumble across that video. But if you start off by telling YouTube, feeding the algorithm the information it needs about your content, that, hey, this is a video about caring and feeding for a baby llama, then if that's in your title and your description, you're ahead of the game. It's just that simple.
Yeah. I sometimes think that, and I heard this online, and maybe you can kind of verify it and add your expertise to this, but I think it might have been Roberto Blake. He had said that it takes at least 30 videos before YouTube actually understands what your channel is about. And I think that's important to understand, because when Garry points at his focus, his sign up there, focus, if you're focusing your content on feeding that baby llama and you make 50 videos about feeding a baby llama, then guess what YouTube's going to say? Well, yeah, we understand what you're all about. You're about feeding a baby llama. So therefore, anybody that's searching for how to feed a baby llama and how to care for that baby llama is going to get your content. And that's why being focused on that kind of content and really narrowing it down, I think is what Garry is really trying to point out here, is super important to establish what your channel is about. Because if you're feeding a baby llama one day and then the next day you're taking it to the dog park to meet dogs, or you're taking it to the supermarket, YouTube's gonna be a little bit confused as far as what your content is all about. It's probably gonna know that it's about a baby llama, but you want to really start off and really focus and hyper focus on what it is that you are all about. And then from there, you can start expanding out into different areas, because now YouTube understands what you're about. And you've established that kind of like that baseline. And then now you can start expanding out your content choices related to the baby llama. I love that example, by the way, the baby llama.
It's so true. And that's just what this slide is about, right? It's the topic. It's the thing your channel and your videos are about. And Ken hit the nail on the head, and he was talking about Roberto Blake. You know, of course, Roberto says, you know, you should make 100 crappy videos, but out of those first 100, 30 of them should be focused and on topic, right? So it's like, you want to introduce the world to you and your content, then you want to stay focused. You want to stay true to, you know, what it is that people came to originally when they found that video. So if you go back to that and you think about creating content, a lot of people sort of know and understand blogging, and they understand creating pillars and categories. So when you first start creating that content, you want to make sure, and this is the key too, right? When you were talking about utilizing YouTube and getting started with YouTube, and a lot of people sort of miss out on this, and they don't understand that the thing your channel and your videos are about is the topic. That's the number one thing you have to start with. What topic am I talking about? And the reason you need to do that is because when you come to YouTube and you search for that topic and you find it, you want to get rewarded by YouTube for keeping people on the platform. Okay. Not necessarily on your channel. Of course, that's always better if they stay on your channel. But if you're focused on this topic and the thing that your actual videos are about, the topic, and then you create one video, 2, 3, 4, like Ken says, 30 videos around that topic. And this may seem like, how am I going to create 30 videos talking about one thing? Well, that's sort of the idea too. The idea here is you have to be ready, and you have to be focused, and you have to understand that when you start creating this content, you're going to say the same thing over and over and over again. It's rinse and repeat, right? Now, you're not going to literally say the same thing, but you're going to talk about the same thing, and you're just going to come at it from different angles for your audience, so they understand that you are the person to go to for this topic. And that's why you are going to become the authority. And that's the end goal, right? Is to create content that's on topic, and then to take that topic and then become the authority around the bigger picture of that topic.
Yeah. When you think about it too, if you look at a lot of the larger channels, the ones that are more successful, right? And we all look up to these guys. You just notice a pattern. A lot of times they end up speaking about the same things, but they say it in a different way. And I think the important thing to remember is that, yeah, you're going to have people who watch every single video that you put out, every single one. But the majority of people that are going to end up watching are going to be people that stumble across your video. And this is going to be the first time they've ever heard that message. So when Garry says that you're going to be kind of repeating that message, you're going to be expanding upon it, because as you grow as a person that creates content, you're going to start understanding, you're going to start becoming more of a niche expert and authority, and you're going to start adding that knowledge into your video. So your video may be very basic in the beginning, but as you grow in your niche, you're going to start adding more things, because this is just the normal progression of anybody that's going to be creating content. And I think that's super important to understand, is that, you know, Garry and I, we always think, okay, well, what are we going to talk about today, or, you know, what kind of videos should we be making? But we understand what we need to make. We know who our audience is. And I think one of the things that we had a discussion about the other day was, I just said, to me, the algorithm is it's people. That's what it is. And maybe I'm wrong, Garry, but maybe you can kind of explain that connection between, and make that connection between the algorithm and just your audience.
Yeah, for sure. And before we get started, shout out to School of Nomads, Richard Darby. he knows about saying the same thing over and over. Anyone that's ever watched any of his review videos, right? He does a great job of saying the same thing to try to drive home his message. So definitely check out School of Nomads. And I also wanted to say, Joshua here watching from Qatar. Hey, hello from Qatar. It's been a while, but I've spent some time there in Qatar. I lived in Doha. Nice area, depending on the time of year. So again, that is what we're talking about in their School of Nomads. Yes, I've repeated myself thousands of times. Exactly. We all sort of fall into that, right? And that's what Ken's talking about when you're talking to your audience, you know, because when you're talking to your audience, a lot of times, you know, you're like, man, they've heard this. But see, that's the point. They have heard it, but the reason they subscribe to your channel and the reason they keep coming back to watch your videos. So once you get subscribers, right, you have to pay homage to the fact that they took the time to subscribe to your channel and the fact that they return to keep watching your content. So you owe it to them to keep saying the same thing. At the beginning, that's what they're there for, you know, and maybe forever that's what they're there for. You know, a lot of the big view tips, like the YouTube channels, like how to get views on YouTube or how to build a big YouTube channel. You know, they want to talk about lots of different things because they're interested in lots of different things. A lot of them are interested in photography and filming because that's kind of their passion. Because a lot of YouTube creators are really big into like getting their lighting right and you know, and all this stuff's important, you know. But like for me, like right now, I know for a fact, like I literally just have the light in my office turned on, and then I have the best microphone I can, and then you know I try to cut down the echo and this and that. And I'm always thinking about that stuff, but I know that like on 30-minute marketing, I can't make a video about that because nobody cares that, you know, I'm working on that to try to make my videos better. And that's a lot of times to sort of stay on point is those big, you know, get views channels. They want to make content like that and they can stretch it a little bit, but they really have to come back to what the audience wants. More views, more views, more views, more views, right? So for example, Ken Fear Cow marketing, 30-minute marketing, you know, we want to be marketing channels. Like I originally created 30-minute marketing because I wanted to talk about all the cool stuff I learned about marketing. But really, the audience that I've been able to find up to this point and sort of the audience that will follow me is sort of that journey as an affiliate marketer getting started. And what do they want? They don't really care about affiliate marketing. They want to be able to make money. You know, so I have to take them to where they want to be and I have to talk about the things they want to hear, which is one of the aspects. And going back to the actual algorithm to talk about that, of course, we're talking about topic and that's the thing your channel is about. But then the next thing you need to do once you have your topic settled is, again, you need to go back to that concept, that idea of feeding the algorithm. And that is simply, feeding the algorithm is simply this, all right? Giving YouTube what they want. Just give YouTube what they want. Fresh content, that's good content, that's going to get people on YouTube and keep people on YouTube, right? And that starts, of course, like I said, with the search algorithm for the majority of us. So the thing your video is about and the keyword. So we all sort of know, or most people understand in search engine optimization. And again, that's what YouTube is. It's a search engine. You want to make sure, just like in that llama example, you want to make sure that you title your video appropriately to let people know that you're feeding a baby llama. That's what that video is going to be about, right? So then you move forward and then you think about, okay, what's next, right? And this is really powerful because it's the thumbnail, because the thumbnail is what wins the click, right? And a lot of people don't want to accept this, but this is the truth, because like when Ken started out, right? The truth is that to get people to watch your video, your thumbnail has to be good. Your thumbnail has to be, and I'm going to use the word that most people want to shy away from, it has to be clickbait, but in a good sense of the word, right? It has to entice them to click to watch, because you are not competing against just people that are feeding baby llamas. You are competing against everyone on the homepage that when YouTube tries to find your audience, that title and that thumbnail have to work together, and they have to come together to make sure that when they see that thumbnail, they're like, oh, that's the cutest little baby llama ever. Because YouTube knows that the people that they're showing that to are in love with baby llamas and they want to be able to care and feed them, right? So you need to make sure that you're, you know, if you just have a picture of you and the word baby llama, you're missing the point, right? It's all about the llama. It's not about you, you know, not originally, not to win the click.
Yeah, absolutely. So the three important factors: thumbnail, right? Your keywords, and that has to deal with your title and your description, and obviously the content. And these are like the three basic building blocks for your content, as well as, well, the fourth one is focus. That's probably the most important one. Everything has to be focused on producing that content. One thing that to me that resonates with these three factors is that it applies to all niches. You can be in any niche, and I'm glad Gary's talking about baby llamas. I thought we were going to talk about vegan dogs today, but you know, especially when it comes to multiple niches, is that you can use this anywhere. As long as you apply the same principles that Gary's talking about today to the content that you create, that's what's going to satisfy and feed that algorithm. That's what YouTube wants. That's what's going to get your videos in front of the people that you want to get in front of. And I think that's the hard part, because I think as someone who creates content, you know, I get sidetracked, and you know, it's hard to stay focused on my audience. And I know a lot of times, and I think Philip Barrowman, our coach, is on this live, but he always used to say, you know, your channel is about them. It's about them. It's not about you. It's about them. And you know, I always do that. I always think about, okay, what kind of content am I going to create for them to satisfy their need to get an answer, as well as satisfy YouTube's hunger for fresh content. And I think those are some of the things that I think about when I'm creating content. But let's kind of transition over, because now you're creating content. You know, people obviously do it to make money. And so we talk about monetization, and we talked about this yesterday too. And I alluded to it in the beginning. I get so many comments about, you know, monetizing my channel. How do I monetize my channel? How long does it take to monetize my channel? My first question I always ask them is, what do you mean by monetize? There are multiple meanings to that word, and we kind of want to discuss that in this short segment here, just so you guys understand that it's not only about the AdSense. I think a lot of people just see that as AdSense. I'm going to make money from AdSense revenue. Well, Gary's going to talk a little bit about that, as well as other ways that you can monetize the videos that you produce, the content that you're actually producing. You can monetize it in a different way, other than just focusing it solely so you can get YouTube AdSense revenues. And I think, you know, you'll be able to show it inside of one of your channels as well, right, Gary?
Yeah, I will. Before we do that though, Cyberflix, would changing title, description, tags, and thumbnail after you upload videos screw the algorithm? Well, it's going to change it, right? Of course, there is no way to know if it's going to make it worse, right? So you said screw the algorithm. Well, sometimes it can make it worse. Sometimes it can make it better, you know? And yes, testing is part of that, you know? And there's lots of different strategies in there, specifically for the title and the thumbnail. The description and the tags, I mean, tags pretty much don't play any role whatsoever in the equation anymore. So, you know, tags are good for keyword research, but actually putting the tags on your video, I mean, YouTube doesn't look at them. And I mean, for years they said the only reason to use a tag is in case of multiple spellings, right? That's it. So, so back to that, right? And because Frank actually followed up and he said he sees big YouTubers change this stuff all the time, right? So the bigger the YouTuber, right? And that's what I was talking about, sort of understanding the reason that we have blue collar channels. And like Ken has alluded to, using and monetizing that channel, or monetizing that channel so we can use it to make money, right? So that's getting leads, and then you do an affiliate marketing and all that kind of thing. So big YouTubers can just basically put a picture of themselves, and their title can be new video, right? And people are going to watch that video because they've established that, you know? And this is not to say that you can't establish that over time. And sometimes, and I've tested this and I've done this myself, because even as small as my channel is, you know, on the way to 8,000 subscribers over 30-minute marketing, you know, a lot of people just come to my channel because either I'm doing a review of a product, so I can literally just show the product and just, that's the thumbnail, or I can even just shoot a thumbnail like you see right here and put a compelling title. Now, is that going to reach people who don't know me? No, but at that point, right, I'm utilizing my channel as basically a broadcast to my subscribers, people that know me, people that trust me, people that like me.
Yeah. I've made changes as well. I've been experimenting with split testing my thumbnails. And, you know, I made a change in the design of my thumbnail, and I ran a split test. And, you know, the results were pretty amazing. And it's something that I'm going to be creating some content about, because you can never be, I guess, content with just what you have right now. That you gotta always be tweaking and testing. Everything is a test to improve. That one incremental change that you make can result in more views, and more views could result in more money. So it's worth your time to test things out. In fact, I think I saw a tweet from Roberto. I follow him on Twitter, and he had talked about making a change in his title, and then he showed the results from that change, and it was a dramatic change. So sometimes when you have a video that's not performing well, number one, it could be the fact that you're not even making that much content and your content is scattered. But if you're focused on feeding baby llamas, we'll use that example. If you're focused on feeding baby llamas and you're consistently making content for that, and let's say one video that you made didn't do as well, you could try it and change the title, change the thumbnail, see what happens. Because if the video is not doing well, what have you got to lose, right? So
yeah. So Ken, I'm sorry. I know that you've done A/B split testing. You use not Thumbnail Blaster. You use
I do. I use
Thumbnail Blaster.
Yeah. I was gonna use I use TubeBuddy, but in order to get that feature, I'd have to pay for a higher price. Whereas Thumbnail Blaster, I got it at a one-time price. So for me, it was worth it. And I started off using Thumbnail Blaster, and then I moved to Canva and I created my own that way. And then, but I kept Thumbnail Blaster because that split test thing, it's money, man. I mean, literally, I run it, and it runs for, I don't know, like 10 days or so. I think it's the max.
Yeah.
And you know, I just set it and forget it, and it chooses, you know, it switches out the thumbnails, I think like every hour or so.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, some of that is, you know, having the right tools, and a tool like that is very helpful. You know, not really when you first start off, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to split testing, you know, when only your grandma and your mom and your sister are watching your videos.
Which one do you like, Grandma? You know, let me know in the comment section, Grandma.
You're messing up my statistics. You're messing up my stats, Grandma. Just log off. So the funny part about it is, right, when you talk about those tools, and now we're going to move into that monetization part. One of my favorite tools, and the one I always use, is Morning Fame, just because of the way it breaks down the analytics for me. And I learned a lot from Nico. Nico over at Morning Fame is like, I mean, the way that what he understands and what he knows about digging into the algorithm. I mean, compared to what I do, I just scratch the surface, right? Where, you know, because he's actually programming and digging into the actual algorithm, the actual API that YouTube will let him access. So any of the YouTube data and statistics that you'll see inside of analytics, Nico from Morning Fame sucks those into Morning Fame and then outputs them into different formats that make more sense for him and for us as Morning Fame users. Same thing with like Thumbnail Blaster, doing those A/B split tests. There's been talk, and YouTube has talked about, they were going to create an A/B tester inside of YouTube Studio. So of course, when I'm talking about YouTube Studio, I'm talking about the dashboard you see here. So this is my publisher report channel. So this is the YouTube Studio dashboard that you see. There's always been talk, and like there's sort of buzz around YouTube's going to release an A/B split tester sort of natively inside of Studio, which when and if they do, you know what I mean, will like be one of the most fantastic tools ever, you know, but we'll see what they do. But this is pretty good because what you see here, right? For example, they give you things like what you see here, like for this new achievement. And then of course you can drill into your analytics. And this channel just recently became monetized, and talking about the money that you can make. So you can see here, for example, the last 28 days, you can see that since this got monetized, I've made $90.51. So a lot of people are going to be let down by that, right? You're going to see that number and you're going to be like, Oh man, what? It took you a year to monetize this channel. You have 2,000 subscribers and you only make $9.51 over the last 28 days. Well, you have to understand, right? This is sort of the way it works. It starts off, right? When you first get monetized, you can see here I was making zero, right? So we all know what zero is. It's zero. It's nothing, right? And then on the first day I was actually monetized, I made $1.12. Right? So it's kind of climatic, right? You're like, oh, good Lord, what did I put all this work in for? Right? But here's the thing. So when you go back and you search across your channel, right? And you look at the content you make, I'll show you here. I'll do a quick search and you can see this video that comes up. And this is for a product called Instant Maze Generator, right? This is just a review. It's a review and a demo of a product that I actually use over in what I do over at Publisher Report. Because Publisher Report, the topic is about self-publishing and it's specifically about creating books for Amazon KDP. So I publish these puzzle books, which include maze books, and I use this Instant Maze Generator to create those mazes, right? So I use the product to make money, which is the basis of the channel, but then I actually let people know about me using the product, doing a real review and a real demo, showing people how I actually use it in my business. And then if you take that and the fact that, well, I was going to hit this button and take a look at the analytics of that single video, right? And this will take a second to load up. So you can see that video has 1,000 views and you can see the watch hours. You can also see it got me 14 subscribers. And then I made, again, the depressing number of 82 cents, right? Because again, when people think about monetization and making money on YouTube, they're like, man, as soon as I get monetized, right, I'm in the money. I'm going to go to the Lambo factory and I'm going to buy one in red. I'm going to get one in black. And my wife's favorite color is pink. But here's the reality. So this video, right, Instant Maze Generator, and again, it's titled. So if you look at the details, and I'll just show you this while we're here, the details of this are very specific. Instant Maze Generator Review, how to make puzzle books to sell on Amazon KDP, right? There's nothing fancy about that title, but this is the key. People know exactly what this title is about. And more specifically, YouTube knows that people looking for Instant Maze Generator, when they type that into search, they're going to find this review and they're going to watch it. And then the secondary portion of that title is how to make puzzle books to sell on Amazon KDP, which identifies to YouTube that this is about selling puzzle books on Amazon KDP. So it hits a couple different, audiences there. But the main topic, the main focus is self-publishing on Amazon using KDP. So you saw that I made 80, I think it was 81 cents or 82 cents. But if you go to actual where that product is sold, that product is actually sold on Warrior Plus. And I know we're probably getting a lot of boo birds about Warrior Plus, but that's not the point of this video. Warrior Plus is a marketplace where this product is sold, right? And here you go is Instant Maze Generator, all right? And inside of Instant Maze Generator, which is that video is just simply how to use this tool. You can see here today, I haven't made any money, but if you go and you look at the last 30 days, which that graph, so we'll go back real quick and look at that graph again, that video details inside of the analytics. So again, since it's published, I made 82 cents and 1,000 views, but you can see that, the views are just going up. You can see I've had 10 views in the last 48 hours. So this review video, this content I'm creating on my channel is evergreen. So it's hanging around. So this revenue, this estimated revenue, this monetization, this AdSense is going to keep going up, right? Because you can see right there, it's actually previous 2 days processing. So it lagged by about 2 days, right? So that money is going to keep going up. Plus at the same time, you can see here in the last 30 days, I've also made $79.02, right? So this is more about just the video and being monetized. AdSense, love it because I get paid for doing exactly what I'm going to do anyway, create reviews to sell products and or services, either my own or as an affiliate. And I'm also going to generate leads and build email lists and all that good kind of stuff, right? And then if you could drop down to like all time of me selling that product, this number is going to go up quite a bit. You can see there $1,258.30. The point is the focus of Tube Channel Club, or the focus of using YouTube, specifically the way I teach it, like Ken was talking about in Tube Channel Club, is that your focus is on building your audience on YouTube about utilizing the YouTube platform. Feed the algorithm. Give YouTube what they want. Literally create that content and just give it to them. And in return, they're going to give you back what you want, which is an audience that you can monetize through AdSense as an affiliate or your own products, your own services. Build that brand, build that authority, and make it to as high as a level as you want.
Yeah, I wanna really impress upon people what you just said, that there's multiple ways that you can do this, and as long as you stay focused and you produce the content that your audience wants and that YouTube wants, you're gonna get paid. Now, when we talk about and we looked at the and I'm glad you showed your AdSense revenue, and kind of people probably got a little deflated when they saw that, but that's 82 cents that he's earning now by not doing anything. He made the video, he produced the content, it's just sitting there, it's evergreen, meaning people are going to be searching for that, and they're searching, and you can see by that graph that the typical search volume for that and the traffic that he's getting is higher than he normally gets on average. So it's only going to compound it. And this channel is brand new. It's brand new. And I think that's important to understand, is that I think a lot of people, once they get that monetization, they're so excited and they think that they're set, right? And Garry joked about picking out the Lambo and stuff, but I think a lot of people need to understand that this is a process that you have to go through. And if you follow, the Tube Channel Club method of producing that content and staying focused, yeah, you're going to be able to make that AdSense and get that if that's what you really want. But there are other ways to monetize that as well. And Garry showed you inside his Warrior Plus account how this product is an evergreen product. And because he put the content together and it's hyper focused at the niche that he's in, people are going to find it. People are going to find it. And I would love for you to have like a video, I don't know how many months from now, just to show people where you were and where you are at now. Because I think people only see what they want to see, which is the end result, right? They want to see how much money you've made, and that's what people see on sales pages. They see it. That's how we all get sold. But Garry's showing you that this is a process of building, of compounding, of adding on little by little, each and every day, staying focused, putting together that content, and that's how you're going to drive that revenue. And the cool part is he's getting paid for making videos that he would normally make. And that's the beauty of passive income, is it's just happening by him just making videos. Isn't that wonderful to get paid by YouTube to do that?
It truly is. I mean, that's the reality of, the passive income that, everyone wants to talk about. I like to think of it more as a residual income, but yeah. The simple fact is I made that video one time. I don't have to make that video again. Now I can of course make a follow-up video, which again is very important. And that's part of feeding the algorithm again, right? Staying on topic, staying focused, saying the thing that you want, saying the thing you've already said and finding new ways to say it. And of course, as I poop cash, Philip Barman, falling in love with boring, rinse and repeat. Because at the end of the day, that's that focus that you're looking for, right? That's that focus that you're going to take. And you're going to fall in love with boring, and you're going to rinse and repeat. And you're going to do that. And you're going to do that by feeding the algorithm. And I can't drive this home enough, but I want to show you some actual stuff that YouTube does and the way YouTube thinks about this, or, YouTube's actual parent, I guess you'd say, Google, right? So when you're talking about feeding the algorithm, we're talking about search. Of course, that's where we're all going to start. But then there's external, because when people start sharing your content, and they will start sharing your content because people will find value in it. And when people find value in content, what do they like to do? They share it. I mean, that's what drives social media. You know what I mean? That's how things go viral. There's just no way around it, right? Of course, browse and suggested are the things that happen, and we can look at that some too. But the idea here is, as long as you're feeding this algorithm, giving YouTube what they want, then you're good, right? You're good to go, because you're understanding first and foremost that you're creating helpful content for real people, but you're also giving YouTube the technical bits and pieces, right, inside of the content. And that's what I wanted to show you as well, to sort of show you sort of what this really is. Like when you talk about Google, right? Deep neural networks for YouTube recommendations. I mean, if you really want to dive into this, and that's what I was talking about Nico from Morning Fame earlier, because, you know, just the genius in the stuff that he does. And as he looks at his analytics, and of course, analytics tell you a very specific story, right? Of course, we're talking about creating content. So your focus should be definitely on your content, but inside the technical aspects of what Google and YouTube are doing and the data and the feedback they give you inside of analytics, it's all driven by this, right? So early on in YouTube, right? Like when YouTube was first created in what, 05, 06, and the dude went to the zoo and was looking at an elephant or whatever, right? You know, this is, they relied just like SEO did, just like Google did. They trusted everyone. If someone put, you know, in their title and their description, and they put the keyword in a blog post a lot, then they just assumed that that's what that article was about. And it was the best article out there. YouTube started the same way. But what they did is they dived into this idea of, we need to actually go deeper, and we need to start looking at the content, and we need to be verifying the content, right? And they wrote this white paper. Again, this was in 2016, and they sort of created this algorithm, and they really thought about like, okay, we have all these averages, we have this watch time, and this is so super important to understand, is when you're building your YouTube channel, first and foremost, the only thing that you can think about, you must think about this, is that your content serves its purpose to find an audience, and for that audience to watch the content, and then to stay on YouTube, whether that's on your channel or whatever. And that's what this graph represents, right? This graph represents what YouTube and what Google are thinking about, and the way that they're really like putting science behind this to make sure that people are absorbing or watching, or when they watch the content, they're being satisfied and they're being served the content that you're creating, the best content that you can create, right? So what does that mean, right? Over at Hootsuite, they really broke this down. How does the YouTube algorithm work right now, 2021, right? So when you think about this, it's all about finding the right video for the right viewer, and then enticing them to keep watching, right? And then again, it talks about the algorithms. This just reinforces what I've been saying. It's about the homepage, and it's about suggested. But again, right here in the middle, and I want to highlight this, you have to start with ranking for those results, right? Understanding that before you can be found and people are going to start enjoying your content, most people are going to start with search, right? How to feed a baby llama, how to care for a baby llama is what your content is about. So make sure that YouTube knows that and understands it. Then you get into this idea of Google again, right? Like video AI, it's analyzing your video as you upload it, and it's breaking it down, right? And a great example of this is you can actually test this. And I wanted to show you this because I just think this is super cool. And it's kind of like the nerd in me. But the idea here is when you see this, you're going to be like, wow. So what this does, right? So this is just an image, but this is the same concept of your video. When you upload it into YouTube, YouTube is analyzing this, and they're breaking down exactly what your content is about, right? So right here, you can see what YouTube, what Google is doing with their content. They're literally looking at your face, and they're saying, is he joyful? Is he experiencing joy, sorrow, anger, surprised, exposed, right? Okay. Then they start looking at the objects. You can see I'm wearing glasses. You can see I'm a person. I have a microphone, right? You can see the bookcase behind me, my shirt, and of course, clothes, right? Then it even dives a little deeper, and it talks about, okay, glasses, vision care. So I'm wearing glasses. So maybe this video is about vision care, right? It's not always going to be precise, but you can see the level, the detail, right? So again, while we as real people need to put in correct titles and keywords and descriptions, the future, right, is about the content, about staying on topic, and about understanding that creating that content that's always on topic. And YouTube's going to figure that out as they do it. Then, of course, it looks for logos back here. It says it's Audi. It's actually not Audi, but it's not perfect, right? But then it picks out the text, right? It figured out its focus. It also has this thing where it looks at color and all this kind of stuff. And then this is a big one too, right? Is understanding your audience, right? So in this case, safe search. And this is very important for YouTube. And it's something to be mindful of for lots of different reasons, just for compliancy and also for AdSense as well, you know, and getting your videos out and get them viewed. Make sure that if you use adult content, or if you say adult words or language, you know, they're going to figure out this stuff pretty quick.
That is crazy stuff. That's crazy. That's like, That's like Skynet stuff. Unbelievable. And that's the reason why he is called the professor. All right, guys, we're calling him the professor from the hunt because of that. That is just amazing, because I never even knew the level of technology that's behind it, and AI, and how much of a part of our lives this is. So that I'm kind of shocked. Actually, I don't know what to say. But I mean,
it's really cool.
Yeah, it really is.
It's scary too, like you said. It's really scary.
Yeah, it really is. So in terms of your channel getting monetized, right? And we talk about focus. People are invariably going to ask, well, how long does it take for you? How long did it take for you to monetize your channel? Because they want to estimate in their minds, right? I'm putting it back in the mind of me, Ken, starting off as a beginner affiliate marketer. How long is it going to take for me to get to that point? So, maybe you can share how long did it take for you to monetize that channel? How many videos did you make? And kind of give people an idea of that time frame.
Yeah, so we'll jump back into the screen share real quick, because I'll show you my other channel, right? Actually, I call Publisher Report my other channel because 30-minute marketing, like I said, I'm getting more subscribers every day. But inside of this channel, this channel took me about 2 years, because honestly, the focus was all over the place. Like I said early on, when I started 30-minute marketing, I was like, I'm going to teach everything about marketing that I learn, and people are going to love it, right? And I had no focus. And my topic, while it was marketing, right, I can't compete with, some of the big marketers yet. You know what I mean? Like, I can't compete with a Miles Beckler yet. You know what I mean? Because he started off and he did the same thing that we're talking about. He created very specific content. He stayed focused, and he just kept saying the same thing. Once I started doing that on 30-minute marketing, you can see here the numbers and the statistics. And this is a little depressing. And this is a note. This is going to happen to you. This is real. Like, these little arrows, right? Typically, when they're green and they're pointing up, you're like, yay, I'm doing so good. But then you have months, right? And you're like, little gray arrows pointing down, flat lines, right? Typical stuff. But again, right? $593.16. Okay. So if you look at this year, right? So over the last 365 days for 30-minute marketing. So knowing that I'm creating content for this channel, no matter what, because I use this channel to build my business, 30-minute marketing. And the key to this business is to flat out generate leads and put them into a funnel and bring them into high quality training to learn how to become an affiliate marketer, and do it in a real, honest, transparent way, right? That's taking action online. But look at this. So over the last 365 days, I've made $10,000 for doing what I would already do.
That's awesome. What about Publisher Report? I think that's kind of like the case study, right? I mean, of the Tube Channel Club method and how you built that channel up. And Gary's trying to hit different milestones. I mean, obviously, monetizing the channel was a top priority, but I know that the professor went through and really focused in on the content that he was producing, knowing full well that this would be that kind of like that proof is in the pudding, that what he teaches does work, right? So maybe you can kind of talk about that.
Yeah. So Publisher Report, like you said, and that was perfect. It is a case study, and it is a separate business, and it's to prove the model over at Taking Action Online. And then I report that over on 30-minute marketing, which really brought in the topic and focus on 30-minute marketing of how to build an affiliate marketing business, right? So how to take it from a side hustle or just a great idea and turn it into a reality, So there is some work that has to occur behind the scenes over at Publisher Report, because I am building a self-publishing business at the same time that I'm reporting that publishing business. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. Over at Publisher Report, because I knew exactly what I needed to do, topic, title, thumbnails, understand that, give YouTube what they want, feed the algorithm. I was able to monetize that channel in 1 year. And that was by making one video a week. So I dedicated Sunday to the self-publishing business. And I said, I'm going to make one video a week and see how long it takes me. And it took me about 1 year and 2 months. So about, 14 months.
14 months. from one video a week. And I started off with my channel doing one video a week. I do more now, but you stuck to that. And that's, I think the thing that people need to understand is that when you're starting off, I see people saying, hey, I put together this video and all of it, you know, why am I not getting all the views, and why is it like no one's coming there, no one's watching it? Well, it's because you've got to build that cred, right? If you want the cred, you got to put together the content in order to earn that cred. So, you know, Garry put that together, and he started every week. And I remember because I follow his channels, and I could see him publishing every week. Every week, there's one video being published every week. So, could he have cut that down in half? Absolutely, he could have cut that down in half by doing 2 videos a week. Maybe if he did 3, but that would have taken away from his core business, which is 30minutemarketing.net. So he had to make the time in order to do that. So, you know, Garry's got a family. Garry's got, you know, these channels. He's got all kinds of business ideas going around. So for him to dedicate the time once a week to make that video, this is the result. And I think for you guys out there, if you're interested in building that and building that kind of a business, you're going to have to put the work in. And that's the reason why I like our conversation today, because it's real. This is real stuff. This is not, we're not saying like, oh, you're going to do this in, you know, 2 weeks or in a month. I mean, in reality, if you're going to be utilizing this free traffic source, which to me is one of the best out there, if you remain focused and you remain dedicated to building that channel, and you think about your audience first, you put your audience first, and you think about feeding YouTube and giving them what they want, this is the result. This is the result that can happen. And I think, you know, in this day and age, in this society, we got so many distractions. Being focused is like one of the qualities that I think most of us, we all need to focus on, ironically, is being focused on our one thing. So that was really, really cool.
Yep. And Cyberflix, you asked, is the estimated revenue divided by a certain percentage? No, that you look at the estimated revenue tab, that's the money that actually is deposited into my bank account. There is a revenue sharing, but that gets into like the CPM versus RPM, and that's a whole thing. But that number is the number that actually is deposited into my bank account.
Nice. Every month. That's awesome. So I guess this would be a good segue, because we've been talking about, you know, feeding the algorithm, you know, the 3 important factors that your videos need to have. And we saw inside of Garry's monetized channel, which he did in a little over a year, by doing 1 video a week. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the Tube Channel Club if you want, right? Or do you have anything you want to add?
No, I mean, that's good. And if anybody has any specific questions, I mean, go ahead and feel free to ask them. But yeah, I mean, you know, the thing is I learned how to do this, and I enjoy the aspect of sharing. I spent 30 years in IT, right? Information technology. I built up sort of a career doing IT, and I became an expert in IT. And the thing about it is when you sort of become an expert, the best way to learn something is to figure out how to teach it to someone, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you can teach someone what it is you're doing, then you understand it at a completely higher level. And that's why I created. And, you know, like I said, that's why I invite everyone to join me in Tube Channel Club, right? Because literally it's just what we talked about, discovering and deep diving into that, how to feed the algorithm and literally give YouTube what they want so you can get what you want. I mean, that's really what it's all about, right? And the thing is I found that I did this once before, and I ran it for 12 weeks, and now I'm running it for 6 weeks, because if you can really focus for 6 weeks, you know, it goes back to focus. If you can focus for 6 weeks and you can go through this live once a week meetup and really get involved in this intensive and the club membership and the aspect of it being a club, meaning you show up and you're active in the club and, you know, you're working with everybody else. Because let me tell you, I've done some high level YouTube training with some, you know, big YouTube personalities. And when you first join the group, you know, you look around and you're like, okay, what's everybody here talking about? And then you see all the different topics and the ideas, and you start sharing that information. You get so much feedback that you would never be able to get by yourself. You know what I mean? It's almost invaluable, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's post this up. We got some questions here.
Yep. That's why I thought I saw some questions. So I was going to go back up to the screen.
Yeah. This one's by Frank. Different niches pay different revenue, financial advice.
Yeah, they do, and I can show you. I can show you that with my 2 channels right now. You know, of course, understand it's going to be a little skewed too, simply because of the size of the video and sort of the numbers. But the CPM and the RPM, yeah, I mean, it is niche specific, because if you're talking about money, then advertisers are going to want to advertise on your channel. If you're just talking about feeding baby llamas, although people that own llamas probably are rich, I don't know anybody that actually owns a llama.
You're going to own one pretty soon.
Right? Forget that Lambo. I'm getting a llama.
Llama, yeah.
All right. So why I'm trying to talk and share the screen at the same time. So this is 30-minute marketing. So if I click on the revenue tab, you can actually see here, you can see the RPM and the CPM. So this is the CPM, which is how much YouTube charges per 1,000 views to an advertiser. And then the RPM is how much you make per 1,000 view. So you can see those numbers, right? Basically 150, right? Just to keep it simple. Then if you were to go over to publisher report and you were to go down to analytics, you're going to see that this is not quite as high, but it's not terribly bad either, right? That CPM there, 40 and just say 10 or 12, right? So those are the differences in those two audiences.
Yeah. Yeah. We got another question here. Simple home remedies. Can you monetize by using AI to create videos?
Yeah, YouTube doesn't say anything. So what Simple Home Remedies is talking about using AI sort of in the reverse of what Google is doing, right? So Google is using it to break down your video to understand what it's about. AI can also generate voice. It can also generate pictures, images, videos, right? So you can combine those. So then you don't have to be on camera. You don't have to use your own voice or hire someone to do a voiceover. And yeah, there are no rules against it. It just comes back to the simple idea of giving YouTube what they want. And YouTube wants good quality content for their audience. Yeah. So if the AI you're using is high quality and the voices sound good to the audience that wants to listen to them, YouTube's not going to say anything about that. The only thing YouTube is going to say anything about is low quality content or content that gives no real value.
Yeah. And I think that's important to understand that, you know, at the end of the day, are people going to watch the video? You have to ask yourself, because I think that's the question you have to answer. Do you think that this content that you're producing is valuable enough for someone to sit there and watch it, regardless of whether the voice has, you know, glitch in it or the images don't match the text? I think everyone's trying to shortcut this process, and you know, I think through experience, you're probably going to understand what you can shortcut and what you can't. But you know, the core value, the core, you know, message remains the same. You got to produce valuable content. That's what it's all about. We're trying to produce content to attract that audience and also satisfy YouTube's need, a desire to have that served up so people stay on YouTube. And I've been asked this question a lot because I did a Speechello review, and people are always asking me about that. Can you use those kinds of voices? And you know, you can use the voices, but the problem is that do people want to hear it? Because I know when I hear voices like that, if the voice is good, I don't mind staying there for the content. But if the voice is bad, and there's so many different types of automated software out there that produce these voiceovers, then I'm not going to stick around, and that's going to hurt, you know, your watch time. It's going to hurt a lot. YouTube's not going to like it, and you're just not going to show up. That's just the reality of it. So, you know, there is, you know, some credence in putting in that effort in learning your niche, because that's part of being a business owner. You have to know your customers. You have to, right? And you have to produce the kinds of quality content. So if you own a cafe or a coffee shop, you got to have great pastries. You got to have excellent coffee and tea to keep people coming back in. And that's the same thing. You can apply it to YouTube as well.
Yep.
Let's see. I thought we saw some other comments here. Oh,
there was a question here. How much longer?
You want to add that one in there? I took it off. There we go.
Oh, just how much longer is the workshop? We're just going to finish answering the rest of the questions. So As long as people are asking questions, we'll keep them rolling, right?
Yeah.
So do you have to be on camera? I poop cash. Absolutely. You do not have to be on camera. And if you check out Ken Furukawa Marketing and you check out 30-minute marketing, you can see our reviews. Typically, we don't put ourselves on camera because at that point, we're just giving the hard facts and details about the product. And really, no one's interested in our face at that point. You know what I mean? You can split the screen and all that, but it slows you down. And sometimes it distracts from the actual content. So if you were to check out, like, again, 30-minute marketing, do you have to be on camera? This video right here, I'm not on camera. You can see the views, you can see the subscribers, and you can see the money that it's made, right? So no, you don't have to be on camera.
Yeah, and to echo Gary's point, it's advisable in the beginning because the less excuses you have as to why you can't make the video, the better, right? And the biggest excuse for a lot of people is, I don't look good, or the background isn't perfect, and all that is just excuses. And I like making review videos, just showing the sales page and going into the product, maybe showing a few slides and just talking about it, because at the end of the day, nobody really cares about me being on camera. They only care about getting the content. That's what they want. That's what they're there for. That's what they were searching for. So again, it's all about the viewer, your audience. What are you providing them? And in some instances, if I do a value video, sure, I'll be on camera. But for product reviews and things like that, there are certain situations where it's not necessary to be on there. And I found that it makes it so much easier in terms of my workflow and getting things up, and so I can move on to the next piece of content that I want to produce.
Yeah, the question from Frank, how do you manage the whole group thing? I think you're asking about how do I manage the Tube Channel Club group? I think that's what you're asking. So Tube Channel Club is a private membership, and then there's a members area, password protected. You get your own password, username, and you go in, and then there's all the information and the videos are in there. Of course, the meetings are going to be via Zoom, and those are going to be live. But if you missed the video or you missed the meetup, then there's a recording, and there's also a Facebook group.
Yeah, you're part of a club. That's why I like it.
Yeah,
you're part of a club.
I just like that idea, right? Because it's like, it's not about hanging out, but it is. It's about coming together as creators and, having the same sort of, problem. The problem is you want to use YouTube. Actually, the problem may not even be truly that you want to use YouTube. It's just a great way to find an audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Carrie, let me put this up here. Carrie from Dream Creative Bee. If you haven't checked out her channel, definitely check out her channel. She says software is a great niche.
Yep.
Yeah, it is, because people are always looking for reviews. People are looking for tutorials. People are just looking for information about software. That's definitely a great one. This one's awesome. We got to post this one here. Lamborghini. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Let's see here. Go through all the questions. Maybe I should post a link to the sales page, huh?
Yeah,
that'd be a good idea.
That would be cool.
Post it in the comment section here. So if you guys want to check out Tube Channel Club, I'm going to put a link down in the description here, and you can go ahead, check it out, check out the sales page. You can contact Garry. Gary's information is on that page. So if you got any questions, beyond what's here, then you can go ahead and you can reach out to Garry and ask him. His email is literally on there. So there's no excuses when it comes to asking questions. Let's see here. There's another question. Let's pop this one in here. How do people get ads in front of their videos without the requirements?
Yeah, so YouTube changed that a while back, and they started running ads on anything that they can monetize. So the incentive now to get monetized is so that you have control over the ads that they place on your videos. Because right now, if you create really good content, and this is a thing that happened to me on my other channel, because they changed the rules sort of right in the middle of when I was creating my channel. So when I first started creating my channel over at Publisher Report, all my videos didn't have any ads on it because I wasn't monetized. And then they changed the rules, and then like the next day, all of my videos started showing ads. So I was like, I know I'm onto something. right? If YouTube can start running ads and monetize these, then I know as soon as I hit that monetization, and monetization is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in a 365-day period.
Yeah, interesting. We got another question here from Frank. Keep them coming, guys. Does your cinematic authograph style matter, and do you need to stick to something in specific?
Yeah, I mean, of course, when you get to that level. But again, you know, when we're talking about the types of channels that I'm talking about, blue collar, very specific on the topic and sort of in the how-to space. And the idea here is you are putting out good content, you know, even to the point that as long as your audio is crisp and clear, the rest of it doesn't really matter. And it might even become your style, right? But again, you're focused on what you need to do to get the content that solves that person's problem, right? Around your specific topic. So yeah, I mean, you know, and that's what I was talking about, those big YouTubers, you know what I mean? They want to create these dramatic scenes and do all this stuff. And, you know, I work with people, and I know Ken, you know, we've been through a lot of people in our group, you know, in our high level training, and they get caught up in a lot of that stuff, graphics. And for example, Ken's channel, you know, he does really good. Like check this out, Ken Pure Cow live show with the little 3 stars up there. Right? Ken's graphics are on point compared to mine, right? I don't even try, because I know it's not a skill of mine, and it's just sort of a, you know, for lack of a better way to say it, it's a waste of my time, right? My thing is, you know, diving into the details and the topic, you know what I mean? Not to say that Ken doesn't. I'm just saying he can do that better than I can. So it's easier for him to just have done it at the beginning, you know what I mean? Versus me trying to do it.
Yeah, that's a good, I mean, it all just depends. I think, to me, keep it simple. Keep it simple. I mean, that's the best way, because at the end of the day, nobody cares. And I'm realizing that too. When I first started, I made a green screen video, a green added studio, the green screen. And one day I reached out to Philip Barrowman, and I just told him, I said, okay, I'm not doing those anymore. And he just laughed. And I just said, hey, why didn't you tell me? And he said, because you need to come to that realization yourself. I can tell you that, but you're not going to listen. And I just realized that it just took too much time, that it's more important in the beginning, because no one's going to be watching your content in the beginning. No one. All right. This is the reality. We all start off that way. We all have high hopes that we're going to make that one video that's just going to go viral. And all of a sudden we're picking out our Lamborghini, right? Our Lamborghini. And, you know, that's not the case. It's this level of compounding. You're making videos, you're producing content every single day. Yeah. And that's all you're keeping your focus on is producing that content. And that's when things start taking up more, you know, you start building that momentum is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Go back and watch our channel, 30-Minute Marketing and Ken Pure Cow Marketing, and look at our first videos compared to what we're doing now. 2 years ago, we never would have even thought about doing this.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, we got another question right here, or comment. What is the advice for a Warrior Plus and JVZoo products review channel?
Tell the truth.
Absolutely. That is the main thing, is tell the truth. Be honest, because I think a lot of newbies, I was in that same boat. I'm sure Garry was as well. When you come online, we're all about, I want to make money. That's what I want. I want to make money. I want, you know, I want to live that laptop lifestyle. But, you know, you got to realize, and we talked about this on our podcast, is that there's another person on the other side of the camera, on the other side of the screen that you're talking to. And they're putting their trust in you to, you know, guide them the right way. And you're gonna find that if you go to our channels and then you do a search for a product that's maybe launching on any of those platforms, you're gonna see few and far between videos that have the word honest in them, that have real review in them. Most of them focus on just just on the bonuses, tons and tons of bonuses. You know, sometimes the bonuses are worth more than a car and worth more than that $17 product that you're going to buy. And I think for us, it's important to kind of cut through that noise. So even though there's products launching, search through them, find the ones, you know, do your research and understand both sides of the story. That you got to understand both sides of the story before you make that decision. I think so much of us are so excited that we just want to buy something, that this is going to be the silver bullet, so to speak, that's going to push us over that hump. But that's not the case. And I think, being honest helps you to build brand loyalty. It builds trust with people, because again, there are some people out there on the other side of that screen that are in countries that maybe can't afford that, and they're taking out loans, or they're doing things, to get that money, to pay for that, because they're putting their hopes and dreams in that one product. And if you recommend a product and you say, go ahead and buy this product, and it's not a good product, I mean, how would you feel if I recommended a restaurant for you to go to, and I've never been to the restaurant, but I tell you, yeah, go for it. It's an awesome restaurant. Would you take my advice if it was a terrible restaurant? I guess that's probably the best analogy there.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah.
So so there's been some questions, and I put the link up to kenfurukawa.com/tube channel club, because people were asking if there's a 6-week program. That's what this is. So if you go to that link, it'll land you on this page, and it'll tell you everything that's going on for the 6 weeks. So week 1, focus on topics, thumbnails, and descriptions. Week 2, feed the algorithm, ranking, winning, and hooking. Week 3, your brand, what it is, and the reason you should stand by it. Competition, who are they, what are they doing? Watch more YouTube. Yes, if you are a YouTuber, or more specifically, if you are a marketer using YouTube to get your message out to your audience, you should watch more YouTube, and you have to respect your subscribers. And then we're going to talk about measuring. That's looking at your channel stats and all that good stuff. Also, there's a section on here about who this club is for. So if you go and you check out that link, it'll tell you exactly who this club is for, and it breaks it all down. Also break it down who it's not for. So check all that out. And then, of course, you can see some stuff that I've showed you here. And the simple matter of the fact is, right, my personal guarantee about the club is I'm going to share everything that I know, everything that I've done. And just like I've done here, I'm going to show you inside. Nothing's going to be hidden about either one of my channels.
Yeah. And that speaks largely to, Garry, and as well as our ethos, right? We're all about being open, honest, and transparent. That this is it. There's no gimmicks. There's no nothing. This is where the rubber meets the road. If you are using YouTube right now and you're kind of struggling to figure out, how can I make this work for me? This is the kind of focus that you need in order to kickstart your business, and understand that this method that Garry is going to be teaching you is going to help you to build that momentum. I think it's super important for people. It's like golf, right? When a lot of us, and maybe some of you have tried golf. I tried it because I played baseball for many years, and I just used my baseball swing when I learned how to golf. But you start building up bad habits, is what I'm trying to say. Is you build up bad habits. Sometimes it's good when you're starting off, especially like, let's say my son, if I want to get him into golf, I'm going to take him to a coach. I'm not going to teach him how to do it, because the way I do it is not really teachable. It's something that I learned based purely off of past experiences. And I think I would love for him to learn how to do this following a coach. And I think that's sometimes what people need in order to really get themselves started and understand what it takes to build out a channel like this.
Yep. Adventure with the cons. If you don't get the requirements within 365 days, what happens then? Nothing. You just keep trying.
Keep trying.
So yeah. It's a moving scale, right? So it's adjusting. Every day you have to get more and more, because if at the beginning of that 365 days you had a lot of views and watch time, or a lot of, if you had a lot of watch time, because that's the measurement, right? So as long as your subscribers hang around, which if they're real subscribers, you don't need to worry about it. But if you get a lot of watch time at the early stage, and this is where people run into hacks and these little tricks, or if they go and they try to buy watch time and views and subscribers. Well, if you get it at the beginning of that year and it sort of spikes up and you're running along and then it dies, and then you're going to lose all that. So everything you paid for, even if YouTube doesn't figure it out, which they're going to, right? They're going to figure out their fake views and fake watch time, but you're going to lose all that. If you don't hit it, you know what I mean? And even if you do hit it, you got to maintain it, right? You got to level off and keep it, because YouTube's not going to keep your channel in the YouTube partner program. Because at the end of the day, when you're talking about running ads, if your content is monetizable, meaning YouTube can make money from advertisers, they're going to run ads on your content.
Yeah.
whether you're a member of the YouTube Partner Program or not, right? That's the bottom line is for them, they're a business, and a big source of their revenue, if not the biggest, is ad revenue.
Yeah. Yeah. That's at the end of the day. That's it, right? It's all about money.
Yeah. And then the key to any door, the 6-week thing you're promoting, that's what we've been talking about. And then of course the link is right there.
Yeah. Thanks, Victor, for joining us. Really appreciate that. We got one. I'll post the link inside the chat again.
All right. I was looking for some more questions. I thought I saw some more here.
Yeah, there's Nature's Recovery.
I have a health tip channel. When I post my videos, what is the best category I should put my videos in? Honestly, I mean, there's tons of categories. Like when you actually identify your channel, I would put it in the how-to, just simply because you're showing people how to do something. Of course, when you run into, you know, health and any type of thing to do with that type of thing, you know, that's, what do they call it? YML, your money and your life. You know what I mean? So depending on the topic, you know, AdSense could be really good or it could be really bad.
Yeah.
And just, you know, the reach that you get, because at that point you're really having to establish your authority as an actual expert. You know what I mean? Like, even though you're just giving helpful tips and hints, if it directly impacts someone's health, you know what I mean? Or, you know, that's a lot of financial channels have that same kind of thing. And they have to make sure that you have all your disclaimers in place to say, hey, look, this is just informational and it's entertainment, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Carrie over at Dream Creative B, I did an over-the-shoulder recording and took for bloody ages. 2 days to finally get right without tripod legs in the way. Yeah, I think that was probably the thing that you did with the iPad, right? That was really good, by the way.
I love it. Get my bonus to forget from. Good job. Oh, we got this one right here. What composition formula or template for quality and viral can we deploy for content?
Just be helpful.
Yeah.
Come up with your channel topic, stay on topic, and create helpful content, real content that, you know, solves a problem. Yeah. For example, you know, going back to the JV Zoo Warrior Plus reviews, if you watch the majority of the reviews in that space, they start with, here's my bonuses that I'm going to give to you. Yeah. Which are just a bunch of crap and not worth any money. At the end of the day, that's not helpful content. Yeah. So if they don't make a review every week, their channel has no legs to stand on. Yeah. No one's coming back to their channel. Their channel is search heavy, which, you know, is okay, but you become a commodity. And the simple matter of the fact is, if you don't work to create more and more of those reviews and try to create this, you know, false image of that you're giving them so much value in these bonuses, your content and your channel and your authority and your brand are going to suffer from that. That's never going to be viral. You're never going to build an authority. You're never going to be a brand, an authority brand. No one's ever going to trust you. And most people will stop liking you at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important to understand, watch one of Gary's videos, watch one of my videos, and then pick someone else's video and then decide who would you trust when it comes to spending $17. And for some of us, $17 might not be a whole lot of money, but again, like I mentioned, there are people in other parts of the world where $17 is like a week's wage. So when I make the videos, and I'm sure when Garry makes the videos, there's a lot at stake. I feel there's a lot of stake that I need to reach as many people as I can. I take it very hard. I want to save as many people as I can. I want people to make the right decision. And that's why I do the videos that I do, because I spent a lot of money doing that kind of stuff. I chased after that dream. And when it was once until I settled down and started applying the kind of basic principles like you're going to learn in Tube Channel Club, that's when things started turning around for me. And it all starts with focus. That's what it is. We got comment there.
You got to stay focused. Rocky is asking if there's a payment plan. No, I mean, it's one-time pay. It's the price is the price. You know, if unfortunately, if you can't afford it, then you'll have to wait until the next one.
We've got an interesting question right here. Web Freezy, I like that name. Does it really make sense to post a weekly video for seasonal YouTube channels, like when you have a Halloween related YouTube channel, or is a seasonal channel something you would advise against?
I mean, I wouldn't advise against it. You know, I mean, it's going to be, if the channel is just about Halloween, I mean, you're going to have to figure out how to make it evergreen and year round, or you're only ever going to get traffic during the Halloween season. So your monetization, if that's your goal, is going to have to be during Halloween, and then you're going to have to make enough money for your channel to survive to the next Halloween, right? Because I mean, if your content is only about Halloween and people are only going to watch it, I mean, it comes back to that topic and sort of the idea. Now, with that said, right, Halloween related or seasonal YouTube channel, for example, over a publisher report, some of the content that I talk about is creating different types of products, different types of books for different seasons or different holidays, right? So I do use that seasonal aspect inside of the self-publishing business. So that's reflected on the YouTube channel, because right now is what's called Q4, right? The holiday season, you know, Black Friday, and then of course, you know, Christmas and all that is ramping up. So everyone that sells product is looking at the season and seeing how they can figure out how to cash in on these holiday seasons, if that makes sense.
Yeah, awesome question. Awesome question. I think that's it for the questions. What I'm going to do is I'll post the link again if you guys want to take a look at Garry's sales page, YouTube channel club. Go for it. If you have any questions, obviously, you know, reach out to Garry. Like I said, his email is on the page. He's got nothing to hide, and it's all out there. Who this is for, who it's not for. I mean, seriously, this is real stuff. This is the truth right here. This man right here, he's speaking the truth. I mean, I'm serious, and that's the reason why I want to wear this shirt, because we're all about telling you guys the truth. Because there can be a lot of misinformation. We're here to help as much as possible. You know, obviously, if you want to take it to the next level, then the YouTube channel club's an excellent way to do it. You know, you're gonna have Garry for 6 weeks. You're gonna have the professor for 6 weeks. It's unbelievable. I have the luxury of talking to him pretty much every day, and we do other projects on the side, like our podcast. So I have the luxury of getting information from him. You know, he threw me for a surprise with this whole AI stuff. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later on.
I know you love the AI.
But yeah, I mean, we're all about speaking the truth here. And the YouTube channel club, I can't think of a better way for you guys, especially if you want to utilize YouTube to rank and reach your audience, to make profit in order, you know, to eventually even monetize your channel. This is a great way to start, because again, there's so many different ways to do this, guys. And we hope that you found this to be valuable, that you got something out of it from the training portion. And again, you can reach out to us at any time, ask us questions, and we'll be happy to help you guys out. All right. I think that's it, huh, Garry? Oh, we got one comment here. Oh, here we go from Sammy. Sorry, a couple things before we go. Not an English native speaker, even I'm not shy. I have
a block. Oh, you have a block to start. You can't figure out how to get started. Yeah. I mean, with that, you know, you just have to either do it in your own language, but sometimes that's, you know, people don't want to do it simply because of, again, the niche and the audience. And it comes down to like revenue and, you know, certain countries, when we're talking about AdSense, you know, the numbers just aren't there. You know what I mean? It doesn't compare when you're talking about the, you know, English speaking countries. So with that, you know, it doesn't really matter if you speak English and you can deliver your message and you can impart what you're, you know, the solution to the problem. People aren't going to care. You know, I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, I went to college and I had tons of instructors that English wasn't their first language. Yeah. But because the knowledge that they were trying to get to me was, you know, important for me to understand, and because they were so knowledgeable about the topic, I put it on myself to make sure that I was paying attention to what they were saying. So I do understand what you're saying, but I mean, it's just something you have to overcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Great one. Great one. We got something from Frank here. Does pedigree help? Join the club, as it indeed can live alongside ATB stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. For sure.
Yep. Extra lights through shiny objects. Let's see here. Got a couple of things here. One last one. Yeah. Thanks, Philip Barrowman. Thank you, Philip. I poop cash.
Yeah,
I poop cash.
The little pink pig. That's hilarious. I remember the first time I saw that. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, absolutely. And then one last comment here. If you don't speak English, you can also make a channel.
For sure. I mean, there's I know for a fact in Brazil, I have a friend, actually, his wife is from Brazil, and she has a YouTube channel. It's like a makeup beauty channel.
Mm-hmm.
She has, crazy amount of subscribers. You know what I mean? But I was talking to him and he's like, yeah, but she doesn't make any money on AdSense.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's partly the niche. And then of course, again, you know what I mean? But she does make money in other ways because she promotes those brands. She gets brand deals, local brand deals in Brazil, as well as she's a quote unquote influencer in that space. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's just flash this one last time for you guys. And we're going to close out here. We made an hour and a half.
Yeah. This is typically what we would do on our podcast, but we sort of rein ourselves in.
Yeah. So there's the link. If you guys want to check out Tube Channel Club, again, as I'd mentioned, Gary's email is there. You guys know where to find us. We are in the Taking Action Online community. Obviously, look for us on Facebook. Reach out to us. We're here to help you guys. We want to help as many people as possible. That's the goal here. We want to provide as much value as possible, get people pointed in the right direction. And again, the Tube Channel Club is an excellent way. Join the club. Learn from the professor. I mean, I can't think of a better person to learn from than the Professor Garry Baker. So with that, thanks, guys. This is Ken Furukawa, and I point the right way. It's Garry Baker.
I'm pointing the wrong way.
So we'll see you guys there. Thanks for joining us. Take care. And if you guys are watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. All right, we'll see you guys later.
Talk to you later.